Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Walther Center for tonight's exciting matchup between the Fighting Falcons of Cal Miramar University and your West Coast Baptist Eagles. We'd like to welcome our guests tonight for West Coast Up Close. We'd like to also welcome the officials for tonight's game, Mr. Murray Jacob, Mr. Spencer Mathis, and Mr. Devin Reese. Now fans, we ask that you would please rise, and gentlemen, kindly remove your hats as we open tonight's game with a word of prayer, and as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Opening tonight's game with word of prayer, Administrative Liaison of West Coast Baptist College, Dr. Nathan Bird.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity we have to compete tonight. Thank you for the amazing day here on campus at West Coast. Lord, we pray that you'd be glorified in everything that is said and done here on this court. Give us a great night together. And thank you for sending your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross and rise from the dead for us so that we can be in heaven with you for eternity. Lord, I pray that you'd be glorified. Thank you for this night. In Jesus' name, amen.
And now, to honor America, please welcome the Majesty Ensemble of West Coast Baptist College as they perform tonight's Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Majesty Ensemble. And now it's time for the starting lineups. Let's meet the visiting Fighting Falcons from Cal Miramar University. Starting at guard number 2, Krayshawn King. At guard number 4, Dejan Daniels. At forward, number 5, Waylon Anderson. Starting at guard number 21, Ibrahim Jim George. Starting at guard number 23, Jamal Hogan. And the head coach for the Falcons, Robert Clark. fans, it's time to get on your feet. Time to meet the starting lineups for your West Coast Festivities. Starting at forward, freshman number 21 from Charlotte, North Carolina. Starting it down from Phoenix, Arizona, junior number 10, Austin. The man in the middle from Detroit, Pennsylvania, number 42. It's time for West Coast basketball!
And an exciting pregame here, always fun. Anytime that we've got all these extra fans here for college days, but really a little bit of extra pressure on the guys. You're into early going. You don't want to ruin this crowd energy, this crowd excitement. There's some more here in our pregame lineup announcements by going on a couple possessions right out of the gate. Austin South coming to the center circle to jump it. Zach Day and David Goa switching sides. And South can't quite get it to Austin. Pace there. Didn't have to put a ton of direct pressure on, but good positioning. And the Fighting Falcons recovered just a little too close to the sideline. Trying to work inside, couldn't quite get it. And a good drive by number 5, Waylon Anderson, and got all the way to the rim, couldn't quite get it up and in. And Collins slowing it down here. And the ref calling it a little bit tighter here in the early going. Abraham Jim George gets rung up for the foul. Not a ton of contact, but he's got to set a tone on exactly what you're going to call and what you're going to allow. The ref's doing that here in the early going. Let's just see if they stay consistent. And Carnes has inbounded from the sideline twice now so far. We'll see if that's something that keeps up. And Jim George picking up his second less than a minute into the game, and there's an immediate substitution. Number 10, Mario Del Valle, coming into this game. Just got to manage the fouls 48 seconds in. Not the start that Coach Clark would hope for.
Tough break for Jim George. Definitely better for the Eagles. The offense is going to find some movement from the side. It's been a little stagnant for the past few games.
Going now works inside. And a lot of contact. They didn't see enough in either direction to definitively call a foul. Falcons trying to run here in the early going. Eagles get back. Daniels pulls up from 3. Yeah, had the space going. Didn't want to step too far out, which you can respect, but you don't want to see that keep happening. And Carnes goes up, doesn't get it. Can't get the offensive tip in, but it's going to stay on the Eagle sides of things here early on. About a minute and a half into this one. Both sides still looking for that initial score. Wesley gets it down low, looking for David. And with DeJon Daniels taking a lot of the responsibility in guarding him so far. And rattles that one in for the opening bucket of the game from distance.
Great shot by Wesley. They're shooting great from three on the season. Hopefully he can keep it up tonight.
And with Daniels giving up a little bit of size, he can drive maybe a little easier than some of the out-of-conference games where we give up a significant size advantage. But clearly he's going to be as most effective when he can access points from all over the court. Now bringing it up, Clay setting the pick. Back up top.
Wesley for another three.
And difficult to hear the ref's whistle over the roar of the crowd. 6-0 here in the early going, just over 2 minutes into this game. And the Eagles lead off a pair of Wesley Karn's shots from distance. And we'll see if it's something that plays out. Coach been keeping a fairly short rotation here in the early going. 4 players over 30 minutes a game. Alex South has played 24 a game. Austin Pace and Franco Murata at 18 and 14 respectively. But really after that, no one getting consistent minutes, and so it's about a 7-man rotation. Bring a lot of energy early, but you want to see them pace themselves. You want to see them be able to keep that up throughout. But a great start here by the Eagles and providing some highlights for the crowd to get behind and just juicing up this crowd here in the early going.
You want to see if the guys off the bench can give the starters some help.
And Mekhi Jackson checks into the game at point guard here, and he is going to replace Daniels. We've got number 0, Savion Bridget, on the court as well. And so Coach Clark doing a little bit of substitution work for the Falcons here in the early going. We've got a foul called against number 15. I don't see a 15 on the court. Number 10 against Austin Pace. And a late roar from the crowd, not enough to throw off Waylon Anderson, who's going to hit it for the first points of the game for the Fighting Falcons.
Tough break there for Austin Pace. Hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble this game. But that's what we need is defense and shooting off for the starters.
And Goe soars for that board. Not too much pressure there on it, but you've always got to get it. Good job working through a little bit of kind of one-man press, not a coordinated one per se, but and that was a nice read by Carnes. And you can see them set that up. Wesley was coming out for the 3. David saw him, and you could see that moment where they knew that Wesley was going to bring it right back. Goe ready to hit him. Wesley got it and got a tough finish. And an opportunity for him to hit his 9th point of the game, providing the entirety of the scoring by the Eagles, but very much a team bucket there. Good communication between David Goe and Wesley Karnes.
Definitely. An aggressive Wesley Karnes makes for a good basketball team for the Eagles. Hopefully he keeps it going.
And it's one of those things that certainly if we're going to succeed this game, we're going to have someone else step up as Anderson drives for the bucket. But what he's doing here in the early going helps create that opportunity for other people, right? Maybe next time it's him finding Goe on the pick and roll instead of vice versa. Goe for 3. Splashes it. Del Valle now to Mekhi Jackson. Swings it over to Bridget. And some physical defense is going to get rung up there. No shock that whistle was coming.
Tough foul for David Goe. They called him Alex South.
Couple of Eagles converging there on that one. It's always tricky to see who it's going to get assigned to, but at least it's not later in the game, maybe where a player is in foul trouble. They're going to call this one on the floor. Over to Del Valle. South with the hand up. Good work there.
At least they're calling the game pretty consistent.
And in and out. That's a tough one. Del Valle got a good look there. Karnes works around a bit of pressure, playing a bit more of a man system here so far. And Karnes is up and in. He is lighting up Cal Miramar here in the early going. Anderson's been good going inside. And that and one call was coming there. There's good work there by Anderson, as this is, if I'm remembering right, entirely a game other than David Goey's 3 that's been contributed by 2 players. Waylon Anderson with all of the scoring for Cal Miramar. Wesley Carnes with 11 of 14 for West Coast. 3 fouls here on each side in the first 4 minutes. Certainly it's going to hurt both teams, but it feels like with that smaller Eagles rotation, they're going to have to stay on top of it.
And coach elected to go to Caleb Luthi off the bench.
Downsizing a little bit from Austin. Austin's not that much taller in his listed height, but a lot of times he'll play up a little bit, plays more as a forward or even a small ball 5 in certain matchups. Goey to Clay. Clay trying to dance. Goey finds Alex. And he manages to hold that one for the moment. Now it's to Caleb. Trying to pivot. Goey. And couldn't get that one off in time. Goey. And good work by Cal Miramar. Certainly you'd like to see a little cleaner possession from the Eagles, but need to give them the credit as well. Anderson now driving. And gets that one. And I think they're going to ring up David, but we'll see who. Nope, number 11 was and so Anderson really wreaking havoc as he heads inside. He's been effective, and it feels like obviously he's got some height there for sure. He's listed at 6'4", but it feels like he's someone that the Eagles are struggling with a little too quick, big to the guard, a little too tall, just to stick Caleb or Wesley or someone like that on him. And so both sides having to deal with some matchup problems, whether it's Wesley's inside-out shooting prowess or Waylon Anderson's willingness to drive. It's been a good, exciting game here so far. And the Eagles, for all of their size, don't have that guy that you just think of as kind of like a rangy, shot swatting, eraser type center on the back line. Like you got Zach Clay, who's a bit more maybe a traditional big than like obviously this guy's just a hyperbole exaggeration, but that like Wemby type, just at least stylistically, where he can just come over, clean up shots. Even guys that we've had here in the past at West Coast, maybe the guy that Ian Russell developed into and players like that. More of rebounders and big bodies than chasing down a shot block. Right. And so we'll see if the Eagles are able to provide that kind of defensive rim protection along the way. Probably going to have to play it by committee a little bit between Alex, Zach, and some others. And good work breaking the press.
Unfortunate turnover by Wesley Carnes. Got it stripped.
And
another foul on David Goey. That one hurts.
And Richard McMichael is going to get that one. It's 14-8 Eagles coming up on 5 minutes into this game. And we're already at 7 fouls, 4 for the Eagles, 3 for the Falcons. Make that 5 for the Eagles, 3 for the Falcons. I don't think anyone has more than 1. But it's going to be something that the refs have just kind of established. They're going to call a pretty tight whistle on this one. And with the Eagles, really that shooting work over the offseason is showing up. It's benefiting them. If they can stay on top, I think they've got guys who can trust consistently lock down free throws if it gets to that part of the game. But with a shorter bench, you just worry about getting in foul trouble along the way.
Definitely. Cal Miramar, not a super good shooting team. West Coast will most likely look to go to a 2-3 zone defense against this kind of team.
Wesley working against Del Valle, gets it! And Anderson just sprinting up the court, really a nice shot there. With all respect to him, it worked out. He's the best player so far in the early going. Del Valle with a good offensive board. We'll finish this thought after this possession. Pulls up, in and out again, a tough break again for the Falcons. I don't think Anderson, at any point in that possession, particularly thought about passing the ball. That's not to say he's selfish or anything. I just don't think on that specific possession he actually thought about it. It'll be interesting to see if the Eagles can force him to have to get it to that second man, to have to get it to someone else. Go away to Clay. Oh, and that is going to get rung up as a block.
Touchdown number 2 for Cal Miramar. Looked to be a charge, but refs called it a block.
And they might have seen his foot shuffle a little bit underneath or something like that. If nothing else, Penn barely missed timing that one up. Because you could tell Clay was driving that down, and as he could get the height advantage. But a tricky one there. 9th foul called, 5.5 into this one. It's 16-11 Eagles. Lucy looks at the 3, tries to work against Del Valle, pulls up, rattles it home.
Bogan checking into the game, a bigger guard. Looks to be almost as one of their centers. Look up against that play.
And we've got Franco Murata into the game as well on the Eagles side of things. Really replacing South. Oh, and a good read by Mario Del Valle. Luthi saw that first, but just before the pass was released, Del Valle saw it as well. Tips it out, stays with the Eagles. And South now checking in for Clay. So Coach fairly committed to keeping kind of 2 bigs, but right as I start that inside, right, he sends in Austin Pace. So downsizes it a little bit. We'll see if Austin tries to play as a big or if this is more of a 1-in, 4-out.
Well, this lineup gives the Eagles a good 5-out combination of shooting. There we go. Entry pass into Alex South gets stuffed.
Anderson on the run. Anderson up and out. South gets it. 18-11 Eagles. A frantic pace here. Carnes up and down. And Anderson, this man has incredible cardio. I will say that. Like, I know we're only 6 minutes into the game, but he is sprinting down the court at every opportunity, putting a lot of pressure on the Eagles. And it's going to, in large part, it's always a team game. It's a battle of 5-on-5. Battle of everyone that you got on the bench that's going to get into the game and play a part. But this is a duel right now between Waylon Anderson and Wesley Carnes. David Goey flashing that though.
Anderson definitely has a motor on him. He's definitely been running up and down the court, scoring most of their points. He does appear to be their primary scorer, at least for this evening.
22-11. Eagles up about 7 minutes into this one. And DeJon Daniels, the starter, back into the game, is joined by Jeremiah Judge, who loses possession as it goes out of bounds. Eagles retaining the ball here, or receiving the ball here, 22-11. 13:09 left in this, and we have a full hockey line change. We had 6 people come to the scorer's table, and then they realized, not that sport. But we've got full changes here by Coach Clark. And coming into the game for the first time, I'll wait till he rotates a little bit more and we see the number 33, Alicio Flores. And looking like a bit of a man press kind of look here.
They're on that last possession. The Eagles did a good job executing their 2-3 defense. They're able to get inside and cause havoc and force a miss. Good dive by Wesley.
Jet ball. Possession goes to the Eagles.
And the Falcons able to get in the mixer for that one, getting the foul call, or the jump ball call, but the Eagles are going to retain it here. Wesley out to David again, just kind of finding him right around the free throw line, letting him create space either forward or back. And the Eagles really been pretty committed to driving a lot this game. Both sides finding a lot of joy, trying to take it down inside.
Great drive by David Goa. Like I said before, their rim pressure is going to help open up their free balls. Some of their guards be able to get some good looks. David Goa getting aggressive, going to the rim. If he can get aggressive and start scoring, it'll be good for the Eagles. Good news for him.
And you think of David as a player who brings a lot of like his on-ball defense, well-rounded enough game that he can contribute if he needs to play down at guard or play up even kind of, maybe not a true center, but can guard bigger players for sure. But really, he's been shooting very well this season. He's leading the Eagles in minutes per game. And Wesley's certainly the scoring engine. We can see why tonight. But David, a big part of what's making this team tick in the early going. Flores can't hit it here. And that one's going to be a good drive as number 1, Caden Cibrian, goes up, gets the bucket, hits the deck, jumps back up to pressure Wesley. David looking for options here and finds
miscommunication there by the Eagles. Both Eagles players, Austin Pace and Wesley Collins, tried to go for it.
Cibrian to Bridget. Bridget gets it up and in. 23-15, 8 minutes into the game. And we've got Zach Clay getting ready to check in here soon. Collins works his way around, ducks, dodges, and gets the bucket. I don't have the specific count. I know David's hit a couple of buckets. He's pushing 20 already, about 8 minutes into the game. And the arc on that one by Chris Torina. David pushing into transition. Can he get it all the way in?
Unfortunate miss by David Goa. I'm sure he'll get the next one. He's on the fast break. Number 33, Lucio Flores with the miss.
Goa with the board. Eagles up 25-15 as we get to about the 11-minute mark. Nice dish by David. Pace can't rattle that one over. Goa gets the board off the back and somehow ends up at the three-point line. I didn't see what happened there. But as I glanced down and then back up, that's not where I anticipated seeing David.
David Goa grabbed the rebound off the Austin Pace miss.
Second personal foul.
Goa will be going to the line for 2 free throws.
We have a timeout on the floor. Media timeout.
And the media timeout gives the Eagles a chance to get a little bit of a breather here as they're getting free throws after this timeout. So Ken Nebraska, that smaller rotation is often used. A lot of times we'll see our coaches kind of double tap these opportunities to get a free throw and then use a timeout. Here it's set it up for them with the media timeout coming on the free throws anyway. But something that we'll probably see at some other point throughout the game. If you are West Coast, are you looking to try to get Wesley out for a breather? I know he gets a lot of minutes. That's kind of the way the game goes. In the 10-point margin, do you just leave him in? He's hot. Why mess with things? Or do you try to stagger his minutes a little bit to have him fresher later in the game?
I would definitely try to stagger his minutes a little bit. Robert Clark going a little bit deeper in his bench. Hopefully, Wesley will get some breathing time and that he'll be able to be fresh and come in again.
And the Eagles up 25-15 as we are getting ready to get David Goe's free throws here in the early going. Goe going to the line. The rest of the Eagles all in the backcourt, and so a lot of confidence that he is going to make his, or at least that their defense is going to be best set up by having the opportunity to see what happens on those free throws there.
Definitely. Hopefully David Goa can knock down these two, put the Eagles up 28-15. It'd be a good 13-point lead for the Eagles as they've struggled to get leads in their early games, and it'd be nice to get one today.
Yeah, and it just gives you that much more confidence that the plan is coming together, the process is coming together. You know you're going to take some schedule losses when you're playing at the level we're playing at, right? Everyone outside of 30 college programs just knows that they're going to have some of those. But giving something to build on, having the opportunity to see shots go down consistently, just makes life that much better. And the Eagles have played a good all-round game. Certainly the story of the game would be Wesley's shooting and overall offense. But good defense by a lot of players. And Pace there with a good dish. Caleb for three. A little too deep. And the Falcons are away. Eagles hustling back. Ooh, can't quite spin that one in.
Good force miss by the Eagles.
Out of bounds, Cal Miramar
Good. Cal Miramar's ball underneath. hopefully the defense by the Eagles will be able to force another miss.
And we're going to see, looks like they're bringing over number 12, Richard McMichael, on the side nearer the Eagles fans. Tosses it up to Anderson, who's going to dish it. Ball moving around before the drive, ultimately by number 13, Jeremiah Judge. You definitely saw the contact there, but it looked like they thought the defender was set enough. Lucy working around, now back to Goa. Facing a bit of a double, he's got to get that one out. Over to Wesley. Can't quite get that one there, and Jackson is away. Falcons running.
Good defense by Zach Clay. Here we go, Wesley on a pull-up three.
Hits it. And Makai Jackson looking over to the right for Richard McMichael. Now it's up with Jeremiah Judge and then back to Jackson. We haven't seen the Falcons particularly try to slow down the pace and work in the half court as much. In large part, it's been a succession of transition and semi-transition, but a little bit more measured here, and pace comes down with that.
Definitely some good defense, and hopefully, here we go, David. Hopefully he gets a little more aggressive. I know Wesley's been scoring almost all the Eagles' points. Hopefully, Zach Clay got stripped there. Good hustle play by Cal Miramar. It's going to be Eagles basketball going the other way.
And I think something that I'm impressed by seeing here with the Eagles is obviously anytime you have a player that's just going off, right, that's just scoring a lot, sometimes you can kind of get this mindset of, okay, well, we're just going to, step back out of the play and just, let him cook kind of thing. But it doesn't feel like Wesley is becoming over-aggressive to the point of selfishness, or like the guys are trying to be selfless so hard that it's getting to the point of, just a spectator sport. It seems like everyone's really engaged. If they start doubling Wesley a lot, I think everyone's going to be ready to just jump right in kind of thing. It's definitely been a good team performance by the Eagles here. Unfortunately, right now, it looks like number 21, Abraham Jim George, went down hard, and some of the trainers were out looking at him for a moment, hobbling off the court here, and certainly a big part of Cal Miramar's game plan. He was a starter for them, had to sit pretty quickly because of some early fouls, but someone that Coach Clark depends on, he counts on as a part of this team. So certainly you hope that he's okay. Maybe he just rolled his ankle a little bit, but not in a way that's going to impede him this game or in his season moving forward. South coming into this game here.
Going back to your point on Wesley, he has been playing within the flow of the game, not overly aggressive. He hasn't been forcing too many shots. The Eagles have just been looking for him and David Goa to get some looks.
And Wesley works in and gets swatted by Jackson. With 2 seconds left on the shot clock, the Eagles are going to have to find a quick and efficient shot here with 2 on the shot clock. Goa, it's got to go up, and that one's going to get blocked. It's away, and Bogan is going to finish with his left and one opportunity. 30-19, chance for 30-20. 8:46 left here in the first half, and great work by Cal Miramar. If you're them, you can't ask for much more than not only a stop, but a block leading to transition points here. I mean, got your work done in those 2 seconds before the shot clock.
Yeah, definitely not a great foul by Alex South. Can't really afford those as he's one of their starters. If you're going to foul, you probably foul to make the guy miss the shot, but it's okay. At least he challenged. They're playing some aggressive defense, and hopefully Eagles open for a miss. Are looking to get some points back on the board and shorten this lead.
And short off the front, bounces around, but Goa comes away with it. He's got pressure behind. Good job navigating out. And Wesley comes over. Now works around a pick from Franco. Up for 3. Down for 3. 33-19. Here with 8.5 left in the first. Waylon Anderson coming back in. And a little bit short there, working on that drive, got forced down to the baseline, and that's good work by the Eagles. It's almost impossible. Wow, and a great pick by Judge. Anderson over the top. And I was just going to congratulate David on good defense without fouling, even if it went in. Good defense, got up for the contest, but didn't foul. Caused the miss, came across and then ended up on the foul on the second. So, and that's, you know, it's a sign of intensity that you have to bring. Nobody gets to be a good defender by just letting up easy layups. But at the same time, it's also just like, we're so close and then couldn't quite get out of there without the foul. And a whistle again tonight here on this one.
Yeah, unfortunate foul for David Goa. Did a good job contesting that first shot. Just got called for a tiki-taka on the other side. Good play by Cal Miramar. They're looking to get this lead down to 10, hopefully.
And one of our first, I believe our season opener here in the Walter Center, David picked up his fourth very early in the second half. But, and we talked about it on the broadcast, right? Even as a senior, you've got that opportunity to earn trust, and he was able to get through the rest of the game without committing a foul. He does enough defending that you know he's probably not getting out of many games with 0 to 1, but he's just got to keep that in control. So we'll see if he can do that here. Even, it's not like the refs are favoring one side more than another, but the Eagles are going to have to keep it in control with that smaller lineup.
David Goa is not one of the guys you want in foul trouble. He's a great energy guy, a good defender, and he's a good crowd guy. He gets the crowd involved a lot, and this crowd right now for West Coast up close is giving the Eagles some life as we hear the band play. Hopefully the Eagles come out of this timeout pretty juiced.
And we'll see if he's got any lineup changes. David stays out on the court. Really, one of the few times that Coach hasn't had a couple of true bigs. Austin Pace, again, we kind of mentioned him a little bit as that tweener. He's listed at 6 foot even, but plays up a little bit with that. Coach Vara uses him a lot of times like a guy maybe 2-3 inches taller than that. But Franco Murata, the one kind of, if you were to peg someone as a big, he's the one guy on the floor right now that you'd see as that. But David brings some defense. Caleb and Wesley bring some speed. And the Falcons don't have a lot of height on their side either. So, if anything, maybe looking at throwing a bit of a change up, trying to play a little bit smaller, maybe push it, get a bit more shooting as they're trying to work back from this deficit. Eagles countering in kind. We'll see which side is more effective at playing a fast-paced game. 33-19. Chance for the Falcons to cut that deficit as Jeremiah Judge swishes the second. 33-20. And then Daniels immediately comes in for Judge.
It's going to be tough for the Eagles to contain number 5, Waylon Anderson. They've had a hard time as it is, and without a true big, we'll see what the defense from the Eagles looks like in trying to contain him.
And right now, Anderson's matched up against Austin Pace. Obviously, you don't always cross-match. Good feed by Wesley, finding Caleb. Caleb to Austin. Good movement. David for an open 3. Oh, and that one rims out.
Eagles basketball.
And even though that was a miss, one of the best offensive possessions of the night. Really composed looks.
John Daniels really got up there for that tip out on Franco Murata.
Yeah, and not the guy that you would expect to be challenging a shot at a rim, but it's been a hard-fought game by Cal Miramar. It's not like they're just sleepwalking through this one, but it just hasn't gone their way so far in some of the shooting. Good turnover there.
Forces the turnover.
And that one just gets away. Yeah, good turnover, probably better phrase. Good pressure by the defense. I don't know that the Eagles loving that one, but good work by Miramar getting that one back. Murata now comes off. Clay comes back in. And Wesley here in the backcourt. Out of bounds, finds Caleb. One-on-one matchup here, gets it across comfortably. And some more good movement here. And Caleb gets that one, but it's tied up for a jump ball. And good,
Jump ball.
good work by Makai Jackson. Honestly, Caleb got there first, which was great hustle from him, but Jackson got there just quickly enough to be able to wrap it up and still be able to earn that jump ball call.
Makai Jackson definitely doesn't look like a guy who would let go of a ball that easy. Good fight by Caleb and Makai for the Eagles.
And Jackson now comes back. No, he is going to be inbounding there right in front of the bench, and with Del Valle coming up, maybe a little bit of confusion about if there was going to be a substitution or not. But you've got Daniels over to Jackson, so a little bit of a smaller backcourt from the Falcons side of things. And the spin can't quite get them out into space. Lucy defending, now Goe. 10 on the shot clock. Jackson pulls up for a long two. And that one's going to be rebounded, but rimmed out. Couldn't quite get the points on the follow-up by Bogan. And Jackson bringing it back up. Now pushes it up ahead. And is going to get it back. Daniels now over to Bogan. Works his way down against Zach Clay. Yeah, Clay came over for the foul there. Good effort by Zach, but not the most difficult for the ref to find there. Second on him. I don't think any Eagles, and I could be wrong, check the halftime stats when they get them, but I don't think right now that any Eagle has more than 2 fouls, which is at least a bit of comfort here. Bogan hits the first.
West having a difficult time containing Bogan right now. They're going with their one traditional big and Zach Clay. Expect to see Alex South play up for some of the rest of his half.
Misses that one, and Jamal Bogan listed at 6'3", listed as a guard, and you've kind of seen a little bit of both of that. He's able to be comfortable working from the outside, but he's also got enough size to come in and make things happen. Lucy tries to spin away, now goes up. Clay gets the board, knocked away, and ultimately bounces down to Jackson. Finds Daniels. Anderson down. And nicely pivots. I think onto his left. And gets that one to go.
Jalen Anderson, so athletic, so talented, just goes up and over everybody.
Falling asleep on defense. Good look by Caleb, but they were just a little bit off on if he was going in or not. And Wesley says thank you, and I'll have 3. Anderson dances, Wesley picks it, and stays with the Falcons, but that's the kind of defense that you need to play. If you know someone is looking to create something themselves, if you can get a defender over in a blind spot, just making them think that extra half beat. And Coach Clark calling a timeout from Cal Miramar's side.
If I'm not confused, I think that's Wesley's 5th 3 of the game. Definitely doing well from outside of the arc right now.
And the score is 38-23. Eagles leading here at home. 5:25 left in the first half. So at 5 to go till halftime, we've got a 15-point game by the Eagles leading. Good team effort, good defense, good ball movement, a lot of things to like really here in the conference opener by the Eagles. But the one-sentence story of this game probably would have to be Wesley shooting so far. If you are Coach Clark right now, right, he came right over, he called this timeout. Clearly he's got something he's thinking about. Maybe it's a style of play thing, maybe it's a lineup thing. If you're in Coach Clark's shoes, what's pressing you to use this timeout here at this point?
Well, I'm sure he's drawn up a game plan to try and break this 2-3 zone. Cal Miramar, if I'm not mistaken, has not hit a single 3 in this half, and that's proving a detriment to their team. They're doing a real good job with Waylon Jackson getting inside the lane, rising up and hitting some tough layups, but the math doesn't work for Cal Miramar if they can't hit some threes this half.
And that 3 is greater than 2 revolution that the NBA's the last 10-15 years or so. And like you said, just haven't found a lot of success from outside. And to be fair, they've had like 3 shots go halfway down and come back out. But the difference in shooting so far from outside has been a big part of what's made the score what it is. 38-23, 5:25 here left in the first half. Daniels all the way up top to Jackson, and he's going to initiate here. And bounces over to Savion, but too close to the sideline, and that's going to go the Eagles' direction here for them as well.
It was a good look for Cal Miramar. Wide open three, but they couldn't convert. Those are the kind of ones that you need in order to shorten the lead.
Clay coming back and not quite able to get the pass over. And that one's going to come for a jump ball and stay with the Eagles.
Possession goes to the Eagles.
Alex South coming in for Zach Clay. And so Coach Ibarra kind of keeping this more one big look as Cal Miramar is downsized. Really tallest player on the court for them is Waylon Anderson, really more of a slashing forward type than a big rim protector. Although, as we saw with DeJon Daniels' block, right? Anyone can get up there at the rim for this Miramar side. Luffy working in the backcourt against Makai Jackson. Now brings it up. And tries to get that one into pace. Can't quite get it. Good defense there by the Falcons.
Luffy's had a couple good passes on some cutters, but he hasn't been able to find them. A little later, a little earlier, and hopefully in the second half he can get that dialed in and get some good looks at the rim.
And sometimes there's that balance of passing creativity and then just taking what's there. Good board by Jackson, goes up for that. And that one's going to be against Wesley.
Second personal foul.
Miramar's guards looking pretty athletic out here, going up with some good rebounds.
Makai Jackson.
It's one of those times where where he already was on the court, you could tell the ball was going his way. Probably not a guy who's going to go get a lot of rebounds out of his area, but when it comes to you, you got to take advantage of it. And he did that there. With Eagles foul trouble so far, an opportunity for even an on-the-floor foul to turn the point on this Falcons trip. 38-24, 4:41 left. Eagles by 14, make that 13 after rattling that one down. And David inbounds to Caleb. David looking for someone. Gets that one over to South. And now Wesley gets it in a little bit of space and the press retreats.
Here we go. Wesley with the three. Couldn't convert on that one.
And a nice hustle play. But unfortunately for Cal Miramar, it was by both guys. And so there was no one still inbounds for them to inbounds it back to. Luthi now down on the sideline.
Little miscommunication from Cal Miramar.
Going in the corner, but looking to get it back more centrally. And the hustle by the Falcons up to Anderson. Gets that one to go. And 38-27, 11-point lead. Luthi and Goa.
Defensive pressure by Cal Miramar.
He laughs in the face of your defensive pressure. And there's not too much you can do when a guy is shooting like this. It's been quite the performance from him so far. You've got Franco Murata coming back to the scorer's table. We'll see if it's for Alex or someone else. Looks left, it is. But Anderson, and then now off of Daniels. Again, not a lack of hustle or anything like that. Sometimes you just tip it to a guy and he happens to be a slightly different place than you thought he would go.
Cal Miramar is not playing particularly bad. They're forcing a lot of turnovers, having a lot of good defense, but every time they go to score and try to chip away at this lead, West Coast just has an answer.
And I'm going to be interested to see the halftime stats. It feels like Wesley is something like 6 for 8, 6 for 9 right now from outside. I mean, 3 for 8 is still really good. You know, a lot of people would shoot about 38% from outside. Well, that's 9 points, and right now we're at 14, and that's not the entire story, but a lot of it here in the early going. But I will say, to your point, the way that the Falcons are playing, they are living up to their Fighting Falcons name. And so throughout this one, but Wesley certainly doing that with another one from outside. Foul looks like as the Eagles force them out. Got to give them enough space, right? You can't just close him in that sort of way. 23, Murata, his second. We'll see how many his first. So again, fairly evenly distributed. We've got Bogan coming out. I believe Del Valle coming in. Pace now comes to the scores table for the Eagles. We got two bigs right now. And shorts that one. And Austin Pace coming in for David. 44-27, 3:09 left here in the first half. Jeremiah Judge goes to the line. I think he's 1 of 3 so far. Something like that. It's been a little bit off, but he hits that one. And we got a whistle here, but that's just giving him the time to reset.
Good shot by Jeremiah Judge. Cal Miramar getting some points on the board from a lot of their players. Hopefully some of their guards can get going and get their offense going.
Good spacing by Austin Pace. Found a place to be able to get to. Luthi going inside and can't quite get it up over the outstretched wings of the Falcons. But again, something we've mentioned throughout this game. You saw it with Caleb there, right? Not the maybe the long kind of attacker that you think of Waylon Anderson on the Falcons side, but the Eagles showing a commitment to getting inside even with their shorter guys. And Wesley sprinting, trying to catch up to that play all the way through after the steal by the Falcons. And he's going to get rung up for that, his third. And so with 2:41 left here, David is coming in for someone, but it's going to be Franco. And Wesley coming over, just chatting with Coach Vara here. Hasn't felt like he's been, just leaping out of position on defense or stuff like that. Hey, that's a fast break, right? It's your job to play defense there, but it's going to be something I'll have to be careful about. 44-30. You've got the time to take him out for bits and pieces if you need, but you want to keep the momentum going as well. David comes down with the board after it gets kicked around. Needs to find a teammate. Wesley, and that one is going to bounce all around.
Out of bounds, Eagles basketball.
And disagreement on the directions. And with 20, we'll see if they call a backcourt on it or if the clock wound down before. And this one's going to get changed. It's now going the Fighting Falcons direction.
Looks like it rolled off of Wesley Carnes and got out of bounds.
And maybe the ref that was seeing it from the back was the one who made the original call, but then changing it up here. And got someone, looked like they said someone's elbow is bleeding. Looks like maybe number 2, Clayshawn Penn. And so Jamal Bogan coming in for Cal Miramar. 44-30, 2:31 here in the first half. To Jackson, who just gets enough space over Zach's arms and gets that one in.
Tough stop on the Ty Jackson. Their guards looking to score here. Caleb Leakey had no one to pass to.
It looked like it was knocked away by Miramar. Honestly, if anything, maybe making it a little easier for the Eagles. Good work in that heads-up play, finding a player down in the front court. But if your teammates don't get up in time, you can kind of walk into a little bit of a trap there. And so we've got a timeout by Coach Vara. Looks like Clayshawn Penn might be coming back into the game after getting his elbow bandaged up. A lot of effort, a lot of intensity, a lot of energy here by the Falcons. If you are Coach Vara, 2 minutes, 3 seconds left. Comfortable lead, 44-32, but it feels like maybe some of the shot variance is going to go in your way a bit more. Some of that skill, some of that's probably left. What are you telling the guys about how to close out this first half?
If I'm Coach Bauer, I'm telling them to play some excellent defense and run their offense to perfection. If they can get a few buckets and get a few stops, increasing this lead will be really good for the Eagles.
And definitely the Eagles, it all starts with defense here. And so you don't have as much of a shooter to worry about, but sometimes that can almost be a little bit difficult if you kind of start retreating a bit too much. It starts clogging up the paint. It's easy for people's arms to get caught in the thicket there on defense. Eagles been rung up for some fouls so far, so that's been something we've seen. Wesley down on the baseline. We'll see what we're looking at with his inbounds plan. Gets it. Caleb looking for the pass.
They're doing a nice job hounding Carnes.
And now over to Goe. That's a tricky angle for that pass. It looked like he got it all the way through, but he couldn't quite get it pulled down. Anderson goes up. And we're going to see this one. And Clay got about 6 inches over, I guess is what they're saying. He caught it and certainly at least established position in backcourt, but maybe they saw like a toe drag. Good if you're a wide receiver. Bad in a situation like this. And the Falcons getting this one down 10, 1:36 left in this first half. Daniels into Jackson, and away we go.
Really looking to cut down this lead. They're in good position right now if they can score and get another stop on the other end. Oh, and a huge three.
Del Valle splashes it for the first 3 of the game, I believe, from the Falcons. And we're seeing 3 brought into the backcourt here. And that's the facilitation you want to see from Zach. Comes back, gets it, immediately looks forward. And Goe banks that one, just gets it over. Anderson's hard closeout. 9-point lead for the Eagles. Jackson now working. And Anderson down and rims that one out. Luthi taps it away to Carnes. And this one comes back Falcons direction. Daniels not able to save it. Looks like he got a little too much steam in that drive. And the Eagles haven't been bleeding points, but have been struggling with this press here. The Falcons have been committed to it. It takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of investment to play this way, but it's been working for them. Let's see if the Eagles can break it.
The Eagles definitely did a great job in the first quarter breaking the press. Having a little bit more trouble right now.
And Luthi is going to be inbounding from the baseline. Up to Clay. Now to Wesley. 19 on the shot clock, plenty of time to work. Facing a double. Good movement. Clay makes the pay!
From Zach Clay. Tries a little bit of three-point shooting and some size. Great sign from your big.
And the little kind of teardrop layup. Now Carnes 1-on-2. Can he get it? And he's going to step back. Trying to work here. Knocked out. Thrown up. Goe gets it. And Bogan does a good job slowing it down, giving the defensive time to reset. Lucy with the low post game. And that one just beats the buzzer, 51-37. Lucy looks like he's getting a warning from the ref. Maybe he didn't like kind of tossed it up over the guy's head or something like that. The ref's just kind of making sure everyone's good as this game gets to halftime mark, but it's been an energetic one, really for both sides. 51-37, Eagles in the lead, heading into the halftime break. We'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes.
scavenger, and we have some winners to announce for our scavenger hunt this afternoon. If I call the name of your team, find me after our halftime game, and I will get you your prize. For third place, we have the team called the Chappies. Congratulations, third place. Free drink at the GA. Second place, the Bean Squad. All right, great job for the Bean Squad. And then first place, the Magas. Where are the Magas? All right, $10 gift card to the Great Awakening. Congratulations, you guys all did great. Sorry? You want a gift card too? You didn't get a scavenger hunt though. Oh, bummer. I know. All right, we have our game out here, and we are going to have 4 teams of 2. So please find your mattress, line up here, and pick your mattress. This is what we're going to
Choose carefully, boys.
Yes. Make sure that you find a solid one that's not going to pop.
Switch breaker.
One that scoots as far as you can, slides all the way down the basketball court. Here is what you guys need to do. One person is going to run and slide on the air mattress. When the air mattress stops, that person's going to roll off, and your teammate is going to run and continue racing down and sliding down. When it stops, your next teammate member will continue doing it all the way past the cones. When you pass the cones, you need to come back. And the first person who crosses these cones will be the winner. All right, so let's cheer on these guys. If you see a friend out here, cheer them on. Let's count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Keep it going. Very good. Oh my goodness. This is anybody's race tonight. Anybody's race. Keep that going. Sliding down the court. Oh man, we got one team heading back. It looks like they are in the lead. Get that system going. Oh man, congratulations. We have a winner. Keep it going, guys. The last place. The last place. Here we go. Keep it going. And here we go.
Well, coming back to you, giving you a couple of the halftime stats. We'll talk about a little bit of Cal Miramar, getting some good contribution from their bench. Waylon Anderson playing 16 minutes and 17 points. He's really been pushing the ball and getting Cal Miramar some good looks at the rim. Just so athletic, so tall, going over everybody and getting some good points in the paint. West Coast, Wesley Carnes with a big first half, 34, 7 of 7 from 3, and 13 of 18 overall in the game. Made 1 free throw, has 34 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on the game. Definitely the storyline of the game right now. Just absolutely raining fire in the desert and making it tough for Cal Miramar. Cal Miramar getting some good contribution off their bench. A couple of their guards getting some good looks, but unfortunately they haven't been able to convert on some of their open threes. West Coast has only gone 2 deep off their bench with Caleb Luthi and Franco Murata providing some of those backup 5 minutes for Franco. Coming in for Alex South and Zach Clay. Coach Vara sticking traditionally with one big and having David Goa play most of the floor, taking most of the defensive assignment.
And yeah, it's an interesting game because there's as much of a statistical difference in like style of play as you're just about ever going to see. Cal Miramar, 65% of their points coming in the paint. West Coast, 12% of theirs. And so a big gap here in what it's looked like so far with this. But the Eagles, right, only have had 4 players score so far. To some extent, that's just the story of how life goes if you have a guy go for 34 in the first half. But with Wesley at 3 fouls, something that he's going to have to watch. And I mean, if you're Coach Clark, I mean, clearly he has his team playing hard. He knows the sorts of things they need to work on. There's no way you don't walk into the locker room at halftime, see 34 by one player on the other side, and say, well, we're just not doing that again. So it's going to be really important by the Eagles finding that way. Maybe it's David creating more off the dribble, maybe some of that ball movement, because we saw some good movement in that kind of later stages of the first half, getting some of those possessions where you can just kind of ping 3-4 passes around. And it'll be interesting to see if that's something that can continue for the Eagles here.
Definitely. Cal Miramar's been playing a lot of man-to-man defense. I expect to see a lot more double teams coming Wesley's way in the second half.
And I'm interested to see, I think the player that I'm looking for to step up from the Eagles side, and this isn't a critique of his first half, but year to date, honestly, Alex South has kind of been the third best player on offense. But, I mean, he's 0 points, 0 shots here so far. A little bit as both sides have kind of downsized a little. You've got some of those smaller guards kind of getting right up into his wingspan. And, it can be a little bit taller, more difficult for a taller player to thrive in some of those kind of conditions. But I think he's going to be someone that, as the Falcons try to force the ball out of Wesley's hands, I think finding those right spots for him to assert himself, that doesn't mean ISO 3 straight possessions, but finding the right spots for him to assert himself, I think is going to be a big part of this second half as the Eagles looking to see this one out to victory. If you stepped away, get some popcorn or something for the second half, it's 51-37 right now. Eagles leading by 14 in front of what's been really so far a pretty raucous crowd. There's been a lot of, even some free throws or timeouts where it's been hard for us to hear each other as we've been trying to comment here. Hopefully it doesn't get close enough to really need that wall of noise down the last couple of minutes, but I think the crowd will step up for this one if need be. From
Definitely.
The Eagles' defensive side, because, hey, offense wins games, defense wins championship, or whatever other cliche you want to toss out, it's a huge part of the game. Beyond, hey, work on, try to stop Waylon Anderson from driving, because that's probably priority number one. What else are you talking about if you're Coach Vara as you're looking at the defensive game plan for the last 20 minutes?
Well, I think West Coast is doing a great job on the rebounds. They have a lot of defensive rebounds, 27 rebounds and 12 overall. Offensively, the Eagles lead with 7 over 5 offensive rebounds. But I believe that if you can team defensive rebound for the Eagles, that'll stop a lot of possessions, and if they lock down the paint, they stop Waylon Anderson, they'll be in good shape. They've done a good job containing the threes, only 1 3-pointer made in the first half for Cal Miramar, and if they can limit those threes and keep the paint locked down, I think the Eagles will be in good shape.
And the Eagles so far only giving up a 20% offensive rebound rate. Obviously, you never want to give up any, but, it happens. We talked a little bit even right at the start of the game that it's difficult to both handle the press and also the rebounds. Clearly right now we've been effective at one. They're kind of getting hurt by the other. Right now, points off turnovers, Miramar with 18 points off turnovers. So about half of their points have been created by being able to force stops, force steals, force issues for the Eagles. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Vara tries to kind of tweak the sliders a little bit almost and devote a little bit more attention to that, or if this is kind of the game plan and we just own what we can own and go from there. But, definitely some big minutes coming up for the Eagles. 51-37, first half lead. It's been comfortable so far. Good team effort, but in large part statistically, Wesley Carnes the guy to watch with 34 in the first half. And the single game record for the Eagles is 51 by Amon Vicente. And I was messaging him a little bit ago, a passionate fan and someone who loves the game, loves the Eagles, stays in touch, and definitely knew that he would remember that scoring record. But hey, you put up 50, you deserve to be able to remember that one for sure. And here at West Coast Up Close, we've got Daniel Foster, another great Eagles scorer in attendance in the stands in this first half. And so definitely two guys that know how to put the ball through the hoop with those guys. But we'll see how high Wesley can get on the West Coast single game leaderboard coming up in just a couple of minutes. We'll be back with you right as the second half tips off. 3.5 minutes West Coast up 14, 51-37 as we get ready for the second half.
Wesley's raining threes. There's water in the desert.
We're back for the second half here in the Walter Center. Your West Coast Baptist College Eagles leading 51-37 right now. If you missed the first half, you'll see this at some point on a shooting tutorial as Wesley Carnes put up 34, 13 of 18 from the field, a perfect 7 of 7 from outside. We hit a free throw as well. And we are really going to be watching what the Falcons do in working their way back into this one. They've certainly shown the passion to do it. And it's going to be helpful if they can hit threes like that. Only 1 of 12 from outside in the first half, but already matched that here in the second. They now working through the pace. Good heads up. And that one just swatted. Good rejection.
Great block by number 5.
And they just timed it up, right? Like you saw, like once it got through, Zach was able to get that one over to Austin. And with that pressure, you know they're going to be pulling up when they have open opportunities. And just read it out well and got it.
Heavy defensive pressure by the Falcons this half.
And David working now back to Wesley. 10 on the shot clock. And Hand in the back, didn't look like it was a foul. And gets that one in. We talked about Alex needing to be able to find those moments of contribution on offense. Del Valle, and that one's short.
He got a little greedy, made one down here on the first possession for the Falcons, decided to pull up again.
But you need a counterpunch in some opportunity to answer. So 53-40. Wesley gets it into David, and facing a lot of defensive pressure in the backcourt. The Falcons have shown a lot of energy and hustle so far. Let's see if they've got the stamina to keep it up for 40. Now Wesley against Bogan, shakes him, gets inside, can't get it to go, and this one's going to be a physical one here, and ends up with Daniels, kicks it to the far side. Zach on the closeout, back to Daniels, and now we're slowing this one down more to the half court. Anderson now bringing it up over to Penn. Penn misses, and the board by Carnes. Knocked out by Daniels. And Coach Clark yelling for his guys to get up. And Penn just got a little greedy there. The hand was in on that one. Yelling for his guys to get up. This is the game plan. They are going to get right in the Eagles' faces, and they are going to make them earn every single inch on this court. You got to try something. And they have the plan for it. South brings it over, gets a little bit caught. Now Clay with some space. Can he convert? Finds Goe. David. Zach on the move. Austin going inside. And comes back over the bench, or over the back with that. Bogan yelling no right away, but I he knew he had gotten caught a little bit on that one. Austin going to the line, 53-40, 18-12 here in the second half, so just about 2 minutes in.
Nobody really in foul trouble on the Falcons. Bogan with his first foul. I expect the Falcons to be a little more aggressive on the defensive end, given that they have all their fouls to use up.
And Austin splashes the first. The one thing that I think is going to cause more issues for them maybe than an individual number of fouls, as Austin hits the second, is where the team is at overall in the second half. Because you don't want to keep sending the Eagles for, one-on-one opportunities and stuff like that. Good finish by Anderson there. And immediately David trying to get it into Wesley. They don't want to give the Falcons time to get set up. Play now over to David. And finds Austin, gets up, gets down. And Austin was calling for that early. It took a second time to find him, but positioned well. Just enough space to be able to get that one up before the arms came in.
Definitely no hesitation by Austin Pace. If he would have hesitated, it would have been bad news.
Exactly. I was going to say, he knew he didn't have time to, but got it and immediately went up with it and gets that one to go. And one for him, 58-42. And we're seeing Penn come back in, as well as Savion Bridget, as Jamal Bogan steps out. Daniels and Bridget in the backcourt. Pace now taking on-ball duties in this more zone look that you mentioned. And swinging it around, but let's see if they get a good shot out of it. They do. Penn hits for three.
Cal Miramar definitely looking to take some more threes this half. They made a few.
And almost got the dish. Clay almost with the board. We've got a man on the run. Goe. Can he get it? He cannot. And the Eagles with the basketball here. The crowd is loud. It is hyped here in the Walther Center. We've got number 22, Makai Jackson, checking in for Daniels. And something we noticed as we were talking through the stats at halftime, Waylon Anderson started the game, probably led the game in a lot of ways for Cal Miramar. He was the only starter to get more than 8 minutes, with 4 players off the bench exceeding that. So definitely Coach Clark not afraid to use lineups in unconventional sorts of ways. The Eagles with a lot more normal starters chewing up minutes. Clay rims that one out. Good look. The open kind of shot they're looking for.
Great look by Zach Clay. I've noticed on the Eagles offense, they've been having the big stay in the backcourt. And they're looking to get the bigs the ball to initiate for the guards and get quick opportunities at the rim.
And yeah, there's consistently been, maybe it's Zach Clay or Alex South sometimes, someone stepping into that kind of half-court circle and being able to just kind of facilitate there. Almost like in soccer, kind of a hold-up striker. You just kind of goalie boots it forward to that guy, and he's able to lay it off to be a forward or someone like that. Using that guy's size to create opportunities behind him or in front of him has been a big part of the game plan so far. Goe comes down with the board. Carnes looks like it got knocked away. Yep. And that's going to stay with the Eagles. 3.5 into this half. The margin has gone from 14 to 13. It's been a gritty game, really, as the Falcons have worked hard in making this an offensive struggle for the Eagles. Carnes inside.
Wesley took over the offense there. He's been able to get some help from his contributing cast to initiate offense, and been proven thus far successful for the Eagles in the first about 3.5 minutes of this half.
South gets it up top, rips away into space. Carnes a little short on that one, airballs it. Clay into South, and can't quite get it. This one's going to come down. Penn was looking at Anderson, now waves him off. Let's see if they swing it back across. And up for three, can't get it. South, Luthi, and gets the man on his hip and goes.
See if Luthi can get a little aggressive here in this second half. He's been quiet thus far, but hopefully he can get some points on the board.
And you can see why he is a major contributor. Good pass by Clay to Alex. And with the foul there, I think that you've got the score right now at 58-45, and we've got conversation going on here between the coaches, players, refs on both sides, and Coach Clark for Cal Miramar just kind of sorting out how this game is going to be officiated, or if they saw something that they thought should have gotten rung up.
Little scuffle between the players, and Coach just had to step in between.
West Coast.
And sorting things through here, not a lot for us to really identify with this one, but we've got number 13, Jeremiah Judge, I think for the first time this half, checking in for the Falcons. We've got David, Wesley, and Caleb in the backcourt. Alex going to the line. Zach Clay at center. And the Eagles all dropping back on defense, other than South at the line. Little deep on that one. In and out.
Not a bad shot from South. He's got a good stroke.
And misses the first, but switches the second. Margins back out to 14, same as it was at the half. It's been 8-8 so far here in the second. And Jackson swings it, makes that extra pass, splashes it for three, and gets it into Wesley right away. Penn, the closest guy, backing off a little bit from the full-on press. Play down low. And gets that one up and in.
Good bucket by Zach Clay. Awesome find by Wes.
Yeah, just did a good job finding himself in space there. If they were going to drop off and play the press a little bit differently with Wesley being the ball handler, then he just knew where the space was going to be and took advantage of it. Penn now inside, gets that one up. Opportunity for an and one by Savion Bridget.
School the basket.
David is going to be on his third here, 5 minutes into the second half.
Unfortunate for David. Hopefully he can keep those fouls down.
And he's shown pretty good ability to regulate when he's needed to. But with as hard as Cal Miramar is playing, that's going to be something that they will need to do here in this second half. Luthi now with the ball, bringing it up. Zach over to Wesley. Back into Alex, but little miscommunication on what shoulder to put that on. And that one's going to head back Falcons direction. 10-point game. Closest has been in a little bit. Anderson kind of gets the running hook, puts it to 8. First time it's been in single digits in a second. David now working up to Zach, now to Wesley. We got 2-on-2. Can he go? And Alex gets a little offhand layup. That's a tricky finish, and well done by Alex. Falcons coming right back up, wasting no time. Anderson onto his left, and away we go. Now Luthi. And they keep looking for the big there. And the Falcons not picking up the guards as they step off. And bounces around a little bit, and now Wesley gets it.
Wesley's doing a better job distributing this half. Goes up for the attack there, doesn't get it.
And Penn bringing it across. Didn't play a lot, only 4 minutes in the first half, but he's been a little bit more focal for the Falcons here in the second half. Jackson trying to work against Luthi. Now Penn gets it back up top, halfway through the shot clock. Dances and gets some of the ball, but is going to be called there. 12 Luthi getting rung up for that one. I think his first of the game, unless he picked up one in the half already. Yep.
Tough call for Caleb Luthi.
And we've got Bogan in right now. Del Valle hit the first 3 of the half for the Falcons. Trying to bring in maybe a little bit more shooting. And it's going to be Jackson who comes over to the sideline to initiate here.
The defensive pressure by the Falcons is proving difficult for the Eagles to break. They've cut this lead to 8 when it was once 15. Cal Miramar is getting real aggressive.
And it feels like it's been a little bit of a game of runs here in the second half, right? There's been kind of punches and counter punches more than, just sustained dominance by one team. But the Eagles are going to have to show that they can handle this counter punch now as Wesley comes down with the board, comes up for the jump ball, and getting in each other's faces. Both sides really getting into this one.
Looks like Jackson and Wesley Carnes getting into it a little bit.
And Wesley clearly came down with that board, but he wasn't dribbling yet, and Anderson did a good job of getting in position to tie it up. But refs jumping in before anything got a little too extracurricular there after that whistle. And we'll see if... So a foul is called on Anderson, but then a technical called on Wes is what it sounds like. And so... And the ref's getting everything sorted out here. It's going to...
It was a double technical, both on Wesley Carnes and Waylon Anderson.
And trying to kind of get on top of this. We mentioned this right at the start of the first half. A couple of early whistles just to let them know exactly how they were going to be reffing the regular basketball play of it. And then the double tech just to let them know what was not going to be allowed in terms of anything else. Goe looking for a little bit of help here. He's got to get across. And that one is going to be palming that. We got a double dribble here.
West Coast not as aggressive as they once were in the first half.
And the Eagles looking for control here. I don't think they played badly in this half, but I don't think you would say that they've controlled most any point in this half. It's either been dead even or leaning Falcons. And so the Eagles are going to need to find a way to get back in control of this. Look at the margin, right? They're still up 8. With coming up on 13 minutes left to play here.
I think those
good work by Bogan.
I think those heavy minutes for the starters and their 2 guys off the bench are proving difficult for them. Eagles looking a little gassed.
And we've got a lot going on here in this one. So I think the closest I can approximate to this is that Penn had forced Carnes right to the sideline. It looked like Wesley stepped out if you're viewing it a bit more from the Cal Miramar side. It was forced out if you're viewing it more from the West Coast side. It looked like he had maybe gotten a little too far out, but it was at least close enough. And then when the call came in for the foul, right in front of the bench.
Head coach Clark's got to be careful here. Picked up a technical foul.
Things accelerated from there here. And what's becoming a pretty feisty second half. I don't think anyone is full-on crossing the line yet or something like that.
Just real good competitive basketball, both sides. You see that hunger and that fire that they both want to win. Real competitive game at the moment.
And I think this is the conference opener for both teams, at least from what I could see from Miramar's website earlier today, looking at their schedule, is for West Coast. And so certainly one that both sides want to set the tone, want to get the win, either get the lead and hold on or get a nice comeback win. But either way, it's one where emotions and tensions are running high. Goe pulls up from mid-range. Can't quite get that.
Oh, offensive foul on Zach Clay there. Tough break for Zach. He got the worst of it, pushed to the ground by number 23.
And they must have seen him start the contact. You definitely saw the contact going both ways, but he initiated it in a way that they said cross the line. That's probably where that one's coming from. 8-point margin, about 12 and change here. Jackson pulls up, thought it was going to be maybe some contact coming, kind of preemptively adjusted for it. Didn't end up coming in.
Bad foul by Bogan.
West slowed that one a little bit, but there was contact there, and he just made sure the ref saw it. And we've got 8 already for the Falcons here. The ref's certainly a tighter whistle than some games, but at the same time, you kind of have to define what it is going to look like if a team is going to be a high-press kind of team.
Well, and I think that they're calling the whistle a little tighter to lessen some of the contact between both teams. They're both a little hot right now. Calling the whistle a little tight, maybe calms them down a bit. And
I don't think it's been biased so far, but I would say that it favors the team that's up, and that turns out to be the Eagles, and the team that's not playing as physical of a press, which turns out to be the Eagles.
Right.
So West Coast is going to need to navigate through this game. They're certainly not out of the woods in any way whatsoever. Falcons played better in the second half so far, but there's kind of some structural stuff about how this is playing out that lend themselves to the Eagles holding on in the second half if they can keep the standard play high enough. Daniels bringing it up. More of a man look right now for the Eagles. Clay stepping out on Bogan and knocked away by Luthi. Good hands.
And another bad foul by Bogan, just reached around him. Wasn't totally necessary.
And I think it's tough to walk that line of our game plan is to make life as uncomfortable as possible by playing every inch of the court on defense. You can't commit to that. This is our way back in, and then just like, oh, we're just going to turn it off for the next 20 seconds, and then we'll turn it on, a couple possessions down the road and whatever. You got to commit. But it feels like it's getting a little bit over their skis for the Miramar press right now. Definitely not able to make him pay with the first one. We'll see about the second.
And that defensive pressure by the Falcons, they've certainly shown it all game, and I think that's wearing them down just as much as the minute load is wearing West Coast down. I believe that's keeping it pretty competitive between both sides. Just the sustained minutes from the Eagles and then the sustained full court pressing defensive pressure of the Falcons.
Miramar dodges any points coming out of that one. His pace is 0 for 2. Daniels from 3. A little deep and a scrum of arms. Clarence able to get that one to Goe, and Goe trying to work away. And
David Goe with a strong finish.
And we've got a whistle here.
An ejection on the Falcons.
And Goe, and you can see as he was going down, and I think what they're pointing to is was kind of using his arm to open up some space for himself. I don't think that any Eagles fan would say nothing did happen there, but one sideline was convinced that it was certainly to a degree for a foul. I think it was visible. I don't know that I'd call it at that same level, But at the same time, again, right, these 8 minutes of the second half have been notable, shall we say. A lot going on here with them. And right now it's 69-57. Eagles in the lead.
And an
Just over 8.
Assistant for head coach Robert Clark has just been ejected from the game.
And the Miramar sideline, and you can tell. I mean, it's a passionate team. Even if, as the lineups were announced at the start of the game, right? They were hooting and hollering and cheering on their guys, right? It's a very together unit. It's a hard-working unit, and it's a unit that's passionate about the game, right? As any team that comes into the Walter Center is. But it's led to certainly a frantic kind of second half feeling here as things have worn on in the Walter Center. What it has done, purely within the lines, is that Wesley is not getting open threes. He's not getting some of those kind of opportunities that were his bread and butter in the first half. I think he's hit a couple of free throws, but he's missed a few shots, sometimes in times through contact. I think maybe one from outside, something like that. Well, but it's been a very different pace of game, style of game for sure in the second.
Like I said, they're doing a great job of shutting down Wesley Carnes. He's been turned into more of their primary facilitator at the moment, not exactly their primary scorer. They've really gotten the rest of the team involved, and he's looking to pass more so than score at the moment. He's missed a few shots early in this half, but I believe he can keep it going and, hey, maybe reach that 51-point mark.
And Savion Bridget coming in to game number 0 for the Fighting Falcons. And a very timely timeout trivia question here. We mentioned Amon's 51, the highest I know of in the Eagles game. The trivia question right now to win a prize, asking about that single game high for the Eagles. Wesley, he's definitely going to have to turn things around just in terms of scoring pace. I don't think maybe in quality of play per se, but purely in terms of scoring pace. He's going to have to kind of rediscover that groove here in the second half if he's going to have a shot at challenging it. But it's definitely a second half that we're going to see a lot of support from the crowd in the stands. They've been raucous all the way throughout that timeout break. Carnes now going to the line here.
Wesley Carnes on pace to have one of the greatest scoring seasons ever for a West Coast Eagle.
And rattles that one down. 70-57. And if he can hit a free throw here, for all of the noise and fury of the second half, it signified nothing so far because the margin is exactly the same as what it was at halftime. I would say that the game has been played mostly on Miramar's terms. I think they've been the better team for this half, and definitely a level of the foul trouble that's taken place here.
Well, and
some of the issues.
And the Eagles changed up their game plan. They've been getting inside a little more, and free throws and fouls have really kept them in this game.
But at the same time, that's something you plan for. It's not like they're just lucking into those free throws either. Murata is in pace, gets up with that, and that one just rims out and called. Look like against number 12. Number 10. Second foul on 10 is what they were signaling.
Go to line for Cal Miramar. Number 12.
12 going to the line.
Austin Pace with the foul.
Goes to the line. Pace on 3. McMichael slashes that one. 13-point game.
Falcons seem to be relaxed a little bit more. They're looking to be aggressive coming down on their press right now. Deshaun Daniels causing havoc on Austin Pace.
David working as far inside as he can get. Stripped away.
Eagles basketball.
And Wesley just kind of had to touch pass it right back to David off of the inbounds, who then was able to take it in. David opening space out to the three-point line.
This combination with Waylon Anderson at the 5 is a real athletic and real defense-savvy lineup.
And Wesley looking for the call, referencing as inclined to give it to him. Daniels.
Eagles basketball.
And Goe coming down. Let's see if they can get it in before the press catches up, but they can't. Pace gets it. Wesley gets it.
Wesley going up for it with a nice Euro and the finish.
And his first field goal, if memory serves, of the second half. And can't quite get the and one opportunity. It felt like, I think Austin's feet were pretty much set, but maybe they saw.
He was moving a little bit. He shuffled back a bit on that foul, and if you're going to take a charge, you got to just take it.
He was at least thinking about trying to get everything set, but you gotta keep everything glued. Hits it by Dejon Daniels. Clay coming in for Murata, Luthi coming in for Pace.
The Falcons definitely staying close. They're not down by that much. There's still a lot of game time left. They can definitely come back. The Eagles got to be careful.
And it's one of those things that can kind of trick you a little bit because the Eagles have been up by about a dozen for most everything in this game. At least after kind of that opening onslaught of threes by Wesley, that it feels like, it's just been a 12 the entire time. Like you said, it's not that much. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes of the score getting away from you.
And the Falcons went on an 8-0 run in the first half, or at the start of the second half, and looked like they were going to overtake the lead for a minute.
Good feed by Goe, and South can't finish at the rim. And that kind of crafty, incisive pass that you need to see. Anderson swings it to the corner. Good look for him. And that one is going to bounce back out to Anderson, and he'll hit it. And Goe in finding space, almost a little tentative in going for it, a little bit of wondering why it was like that. Wesley ripped through.
He's changed up his game plan. He's attacking, getting inside, not taking as many threes.
And a hustle play by the Fighting Falcons. Anderson out to Penn across to Jackson. Ball movement around here, probably 7 passes in the first 15.
Tough foul by Alex South.
Got a little overextended there, trying to play defense. And we're going to be at 3 on him, 7 on the Eagles here in this half. So we might see a lot of free throws from both sides because we are 1 second into the fourth quarter, as it were. 9:59 left in this game. Penn goes up and gets it to go.
Whistle's definitely been a lot tighter this second half, undeniably.
10-point margin, kind of bouncing back and forth. I think it got down to 7 or 8 at the closest. It's at 10 right now. Let's see if Clayshawn Penn can get it into the single digits. Splashes it. Clay to Goe, setting it up for the Eagles, but the Falcons setting up their press as well. Carnes facing the
There's
double.
There's that double team on Wesley.
Good
Eagles got to get down.
Wesley, 3, hits it. There we go. And that's a tough shot. Not because there's a hand in his face per se. That was probably his most open look of the second half. But because he hasn't pulled a 3 in probably 30, 40 minutes. Right, maybe 1. I think he had 1 early in the second half. And so to come back out and have the composure to hit it, big time there from him. Luthi tries to work around. Defense, South, Clay. Carnes on the run for 3. Had to double clutch it to get around the defender, looking for the contact. Anderson goes up, puts it down, and we've got a 10-point game here with 9 minutes left. Clay operating from the side now, back over the top. Carnes gets it and works through contact twice, shorts it at the rim.
Falcons got numbers coming down.
Penn to Bogan, got a little fancy with it, and that's an 8-point game. South gets
Alex South got to advance.
Looking for teammates. ISOing up. I don't think Hakeem Olajuwon will claim
Didn't
that
have
one.
position.
Penn gets it.
And there we go. Falcons cut it down to 6.
Timeout.
And a
Eagles.
6-point margin, the closest it's been since the early minutes of this game. And we got a full timeout by Coach Vara. 8:28 left. Eagles leading 78-72. And this one could get high scoring. I mean, we're already seeing this one on track for probably right about 100 from the Eagles side. I'm not going to do all of the math right now, but it's going to about put us there. And with both sides having committed the fouls that they have to this point, we could see a lot of free throws from here on out. If anything, the refs are someone that have held this game fairly tight to this point. And so we've got a lot of points.
Some foul trouble to look at. Wesley Carnes has 3, Alex South has 3, and David Goa also with his 3rd foul of the game. Gotta expect those guys to be a little tentative and a little mindful of their fouls.
And we've got a close one here in the Walther Center. 78-72, 8:28 left.
Bad news for the Eagles. The Falcons are in the bonus for the rest of the way.
And Pace comes out, South comes in. We've got David, Caleb, and Wesley in the backcourt. And Pace coming in for Caleb. Maybe a little mix-up on the substitution pattern there.
A little more size for West Coast at the moment. Looking to grab some more rebounds and get some inside looks.
Gets it to Wesley, working against Clayshawn Penn. Finds a bit of space to do it. They're not pressing him quite as hard as they are some of the others. And we'll see if they can get away with it. David does. Working against Del Valle. And didn't look like he had much control on that one. Coming back the Falcons' direction. 8:10 left in this one. Eagles by 6. And they've done what they wanted to do with the press, right? They've gotten this back down to, I mean, at this point, a 2-possession game. It's not like they've been hitting a lot of threes, probably more practically a 3-possession game.
And I think the Eagles got to go back to their 2-3. The Falcons playing full defensive, full court pressure. The entire game has got to be wearing them down. And if you know anything about playing full court press, coming down and hitting the 3 is really difficult. Your legs get a little weak, and I think West Coast should go back to a 2-3 zone. Make them beat them with their 3-pointers.
And Coach Vara calling for David and talking it through. He's on 4, and he's kind of that connective tissue between the bigs and the guards on this roster. He's consistently been someone they've kept in the backcourt for those inbounds plays. Bogan rattles in the first 5-point game.
Definitely David, one of the best West Coast strong defensive forward, doing a little bit of everything for this team at the moment.
So talking through the game plan for him to see this one out. Bogan misses the second. And Jackson, I think the Eagles got caught napping a little bit there. Goes up for the tap-in. Gets called a foul against 21, Alex South. That's going to be his 4th. And so, decision for Coach Vara.
And Alex South has got to be a little smarter with that.
I don't think the problem is on the contest as much, although that's obviously where it costs them. I think the problem is, I mean, you have 4 guys down to their 2. You've got probably more height, and that's not something we always say about the Eagles. You got to get that board, is the big thing.
Alex South has 9 inches on Mekhi Jackson. Alex has got to grab that rebound.
David into Wesley right away. 1-possession game. 8:09 here. Wesley with it. Now into Zach. Now down to Wesley. And a turnover here as the Falcons will have a chance to knot this one up, possibly even take the lead on this possession right here. It has been hectic. It's been exhausting. And I'm just sitting on a chair courtside. Waylon Anderson surveying the court here. Working from the half court now to Jackson. back to that kind of more zone look. Bogan down low. And it comes up to Wesley. Gets stripped by Jackson.
Tough foul on 22 Mekhi Jackson. Bogan seems to have taken a shot to the face on the other end.
And
Bogan definitely in some pain right now.
And every whistle at this point is something really that either side is going to be passionate about. The fouls have about evened out here in the second half. Both sides have guys in serious foul trouble.
We have a timeout on the floor. Media timeout.
And so under 8 to go, we're going to hand a media timeout. We'll come back with Wesley shooting 78, 75, 740 left in this second half. It's been crazy. It's been up and down and back again. And the Falcons have found their way all the way back into this one. It's a one-possession game. And both sides looking for answers, looking how to ask questions. Let's see if the Eagles can see this one out.
West Coast has got to get some scoring from someone other than West. They've been hounding Wesley with double teams and full court pressure. Their younger guards for the Falcons. I'm thinking of Penn and Savion Bridget and Deshaun Daniels, even Waylon Anderson at times, has just been causing absolute havoc against Wesley Carnes.
And honestly, you didn't see a lot of in the first half. You didn't see a whole lot of Eagles threes by players not Wesley. There were only 5 attempts. 2 of them made 40%. But what has felt like has evaporated in the second half are the kind of ball movement chances we're falling away. Maybe not exclusively him. It doesn't feel like a non-Wesley Eagle has almost any particularly interesting look from 3.
Right.
Really about all half. And so, I mean, great work by the Falcons, closing some of that down. And some of that is enough fouls, so maybe a higher percentage of possessions haven't ended up with a field goal attempt.
Maybe Coach Barra discussed that in the timeout. Maybe he's scheming up a game plan to get some of his guys some more open looks from 3.
And part of it also is going to be even the way that the Falcons are playing. They're forcing the passes in the backcourt. And so by the time it gets to the front court, a lot of times it's one of those guards kind of sprinting into space down the wings. Not as much of a, pinging 5 passes around kind of possession. But the Eagles are still going to need to prove. They're going to need to show that they can have high ball movement possessions. And gets Carnes up. Stays with the Falcons.
Try to do a rip-through move there. Out of bounds on Wesley Carnes. Think it called for it.
And, I mean, at this point, really, both sides are calling for a foul about any time there's contact. To be fair, the refs have called a lot of fouls on a lot of contact.
Good defense by Zach Clay there. Forced the miss on Bogan.
Pulls up from 3. Del Valle just to the left. Jackson gets back to it. Bogan calming them. Anderson hits from 3.
Big shot from Anderson. And he's not really the greatest shooter, but he's hit a couple of threes here in the second half to put the Falcons within 2.
2-point game. West trying to look at possible 3. Now to Clay.
Got Clay open 3. Needed that one.
South got up for the board. Good position for it. Can't ask too much more. But man, you'd like to see him come down with it. Chance to take the lead for the Falcons. Anderson pulls up right away. And might have been better served with a little bit more patience there. But, I mean, he had a couple of feet, right? No one was right in his face on it.
He did rush that one a little bit.
Carnes now gets the pick.
And Wesley Carnes changes pivot foot there.
And
good contest by
work
Bogan.
Around the defense. Coach Clark calling out Anderson on that one. Hit a 3 on the possession before, but doesn't want him to just settle. He's proven he can step out and hit him. If anything, let the defense respond to you now, right? Let the defense come out to you, and you create then that space coming in. And looking for a towel as somebody hit the deck. Going to be running over. A chance for both sides to catch their breath for a moment. 6:18 left in the second.
West Coast has got to figure out a way to score. They're not getting to the line as much as they were in the early half.
And if anything, the number of fouls that have been called on both teams, you'd like to see the Eagles try to work their way into possessions where that could pay off for them, right? You want to get ahead of steam, go into the basket, trying to pick up those calls. Jackson Del Valle for the lead, just short. Bogan over to Penn and swinging it around. Haven't been a ton of offensive boards for either side so far, but a couple of costly ones. And that one's going to come all the way back as the Falcons lead now. Carnes surveying the floor. The Eagles backing up, stepping away from the press a little bit. Play into space. Man on his back. Now it's back to Wesley.
The Falcons are juiced right now. The crowd hopefully has got to give the Eagles some energy. Step back from Carnes. Oh, misses.
And Pace hustles down the board after it's tapped away. Goe trying to create a little bit of space on 4 fouls. Clay looks. And they're going to call a travel on him. I think that's a little bit more on Wesley's before than Zach's there, but it's something that they're looking for, something they're watching for. 81-80. Falcons have fought their way back into the conference opener for both teams. 5:21 left here. Just 5 minutes and change. Falcons up 1. And this one is going to be as tense as you can imagine heading down the final stages of this one. Full timeout here by the Eagles.
Coach Vara going to talk some things over during the timeout. Got to kick their offense into gear.
Yeah, there's been points in the second half. There are 29 points in 15 minutes. I mean, about the pace that the Falcons were on in the first half. And yet, it felt really just jointed. It hasn't felt like there's been much rhythm. Part of that's the whistle and the way that it's been enforced here in the second half. But at the same time, the Eagles struggling and working their way through this one here. 81-80, 5:21 left. If you're Coach Vara, what's one thing that you're telling your team either for offense or for defense? What's like one point that you're emphasizing here down the home stretch?
Well, particularly I'm looking at the bigs to set some good picks for David Goa and Wesley Carnes, even Caleb Luthi. If Alex South and Zach Clay can set hard picks and roll to the basket, that'll open up the 3-ball, get mismatches, and get those bigs some looks on the inside. And hopefully they can finish over some of their smaller guards, the Falcons.
And the Eagles feels like, I mean, kind of the story of a lot of what we talked about, right? Balancing, handling the press, and handling rebounds. It feels like the Eagles have played to a draw at best in kind of both of those areas throughout the second half. And so finding a way to impose themselves on the boards. Penn gets much too open of a 3 there. Splashes that one for a 4-point lead. And Carnes working back to Goe. Now gets it back in space. And that one's going to get...
And that's Bogan's 4th foul.
And Wesley kind of tried to dance around him, a little behind the back play, and he's staying down for a bit more here on this one. As
tough for Wes right there.
The crowd goes quiet, waiting for him to get up. Another hard fall. We've seen some of those so far here in his season for this. So far this season for the Eagles. He's trying to walk it off. Walks to the free throw line, and the Traders head off of the court, so it looks like he feels good enough to get through this one. But we'll see how this one plays out here.
Take a minute. Catch your breath, Wes.
And wiping off the court in the backcourt where he hit the deck. Takes a second there. Wesley Coley doesn't mind that second. And now he heads to the line. Unfamiliar territory for the Eagles so far this game. Down 4. And so far, really, we've talked about, hey, Eagles need to hit their free throws to maintain that lead. The tables have turned. Now they've got to hit their free throws to cut a deficit.
And not just the free throws, but also the three-pointers from the Falcons. They've started to kind of drop here in the second half. That three-ball proven effective for them.
And so I think it's 4, maybe 5 in the second half for Cal Miramar after going 1 of 12 in the first half. And I don't know exactly what their percentage is. It doesn't feel like they've been really, really dialed in the second half. But they've certainly hit enough, right? Correct. All you got to do is hit 35-ish%.
And West Coast has maybe only made 2 or 3 in the second half so far.
I think turning that aspect of the game has been a big part of it, along with the press and some of the things that we've been harping on all throughout this second half broadcast. Just under 5 left. Miramar by 1 possession. Anderson thinking about tossing it in. Now to Del Valle. Pulls up for 2. Short. And that one's going to get saved off of South's feet.
Smart play by Bridget right there to throw it off of Zach Clay's legs, saving the possession for the Falcons.
And we've got some Cal Miramar fans on their feet kind of down in the corner towards where the ball is. Eagles on their feet over in the birdcage fan section. Good tip away by Goe. 4 on the shot clock. Both sides yelling that to all of their teammates. And so getting set up here, the Eagles got to dig in. 4:26 left. Jackson tries to work his way into a 3. Pays up for a great contest. And yet it's going to come down to Carnes trying to work his way through almost a bit of a triple team. Now Goe gets an isolation against Del Valle. South. And that's just too high. Poorly passed there. And Alex is pretty good on the move when he's looking for a shot. He struggled a little on the move looking for the pass. And something the Falcons able to take advantage of there.
West Coast going small here with Caleb Luthi in for Alex South.
And we've got a timeout by Robert Clark, coach of Cal Miramar. And we've got, they're figuring out how many timeouts they've got left of each variety for each side. Eagles have 2 left. Falcons have 4 left. Falcons by 2, 84-82, here with 4:09 left in this one. And so I think as this game has gone on, you start to see the Falcons mix up what their pressing looks have looked like. They certainly haven't eliminated them, but they're throwing angles or they'll kind of do a one-man hand pressure along the way. Less of that kind of throwing 3 men up, Zach or Alex getting in that backcourt circle and distributing it out backwards. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of pressure packages they do cook up as they try to defend what is a pretty slim lead here with 4:09.
I do expect the Eagles to struggle a little bit, especially in this pressure. It's almost a brand new team compared to last year. First year, brand new head coach Vara. I'm sure they're still figuring out their offensive sets and their defensive plays. So expect Coach Vara to be really with his group and hope to lead them to a victory tonight.
Falcons take the floor, getting ready in attack. Eagles milking every second of this. There's the buzzer, and the Eagles come back out. And Carnes checking his fouls right now. I think he heard 4, and took his head as he's walking away. A couple of guys on West Coast got to walk that tightrope. Probably none more than Wesley staying in here. Jackson now bringing it up on offense. Looks like more of a man look from the Eagles. Penn swings it over across. Gets Zach Clay dancing a little bit. And
good steal by Caleb Luthi.
Goe checks behind him, finds where the man is. And up for 3, but tipped away. Pace pulls there. Second one's been knocked away. But both times, right? Finding space in that corner. Feel confident in the shot. You want to go for it.
Austin Pace a little too slow on that release. If he can get that shot off a little quicker, it'll put the Eagles in a better position. Ooh, should have been a foul there.
And got to find some help. Zach Clay gets the tie game. 84-84. And Zach Clay a couple of times now has picked out space behind the eyes and the men of Cal Miramar University. And so we've got this tied up as we take under 3.5. 84 apiece. The crowd screaming here. Del Valle thought about it. He's been effective so far from outside. Jackson Anderson, good downhill. Penn from the corner, pulls it from low, but gets it to go.
And the Falcons' 3-ball has just been coming down.
And number 12, Richard McMichael, now working here against Wesley, but they're showing more respect for it. Wesley gets it back, has a man behind him. Clay works through, gets it to go, and I don't think there was any malicious intent there, but the way that played out really got decked, did Austin Pace. The guy just closing in to contest without maybe as much control as you'd like to see.
And with a hard foul there, Austin Pace.
And that's his fourth. He's played a lot more in the second half. He's been a big part of what's been going right for Miramar. Pace goes up, splashes the first 2-point game. Both sides catching their breath here, bracing for the finish to this one. Pace is short, almost got tipped back to him. But the Falcons are going to come away with a 2-point lead in the ball.
Tough break there for Austin Pace. Typically a good free throw shooter. He's missed a couple of them tonight.
And we're over to McMichael. Steps back into one himself.
Wow.
Splashes that. The threes come alive here in the late going as Wesley gets it and tries to work his way back up. Penn on him. 4 fouls for both guys here. Both guys have to play it safe. Pick. And enough time for the defense to get back. McMichael to Penn. And Carnes down in the backcourt, hobbling his way back up. 5-on-4, the man advantage.
Ooh,
And
tough foul there.
Pace's fifth.
Seemed to be pretty ticky-tack to me.
I don't think West thinks he can go, and Pace has just picked up his fifth. And so we're looking at a couple of substitutions.
I think West rolled his ankle a couple plays ago. Seems to be really bothering him right now.
Carnes to the bench, Pace at 5, and it might be both Franco and Alex coming in. And Coach Varr is going to call a timeout and figure this one out here. Timeout. Eagles using one of their final 2 timeouts. 5-point deficit with the Falcons heading to the line for 2. And a tough second half here for the Eagles. We talked about the energy that it takes for a team to, on defense, keep throwing men at the ball, keep throwing men at the play like the Falcons, and they've done well with it. But it also takes a lot of energy to be able to navigate that from the Eagles side, knowing that, I mean, really at no point in your 30-second shot clock is almost anyone on the team going to have any space. And sometimes they drop off the Wesley a little bit, but pretty much everyone else has had someone right on them every second with the ball, most every second without it, all the way through the second half. And so it's been a battle of wills, it's been a battle of energy, it's been a battle of mental attention that Cal Miramar has been able to flip here. And we'll see if the Eagles can find their way back into this one.
We'll see what Coach Varr goes with. Doesn't look like Wesley Carnes will be returning after this timeout.
And so it's time for Caleb to make his impact on the game. He's probably going to be one of the main ball handlers at this point. Been a bit quiet for the freshman. He's just going to work into this Eagles side. David Goek, 4 fouls, going to have to defend and lead for the attack. We're going to see if the Eagles can respond here. Playing 3 bigs with South, Clay, and Murata all in here as David and Caleb, the only kind of lead ball handler types that you see on the floor right now.
It'll be interesting to see how they navigate this 3 big lineup, giving up a lot of agility with these 3 bigs, but they are providing a lot of size. Hopefully the Eagles can rebound and use that to their advantage as this game is slowly getting out of hand for them.
And Wesley at the trainer's table right now. It doesn't look like he's probably coming back in imminently. you know he's going to try to fight his way back, but it might not be, coming right after this free throw or anything like that. And so the Eagles having to work their way back in really the most difficult moments they've faced in the game so far. 2:05 left. Falcons by 7. And Luthi gets it, immediately looks for David, playing a little hot potato back here with it. Trying to find someone. South gets it, a bit of a run for them now. But he's going to get stopped up by Del Valle. Clay uses his size. And Waylon Anderson gets called for the foul. Shamu slides and does push-ups. Really the holy trinity of things that you can do on defense there. Great game for him. He's been a little quieter than his full-bore attack in the first half.
Well, he's got his 3-ball going right now. He's hit a couple in the second half, and he's playing a little more outside the arc.
Zach Clay splashes the first.
The Eagles got to get a stop on this trip down.
And
150 left to go.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I think that probably what caused this as much as anything has been offensive struggles. I don't think their defense has just been inattentive or something like that. But right now, you got to go from okay defense to great defense. You can't give up points.
There's been a couple costly turnovers, too, on the Eagles. I know Alex South had a couple, and they almost weren't able to break that press right there. So if the Eagles can clean those 2 things up, I think they can make this a competitive game.
5-point game. Falcons leading. 1:40 left. Murata now steps up to Penn, but it's swung over to Jackson. Shot clock halfway done. McMichael.
Time is in the Falcons' favor. The Eagles got to get a defensive stop. There we go. Good stop. David go on the attack. Oh, bad travel. Bad travel by Franco Murata.
And got a little over his skis there. You could see that one coming. And a brutal turnover there. It looked like he did it cleanly, but you saw the shuffle there. And Eagles now coming up for a little bit of a press. Not something we lean into as much. McMichael gets Luthi up and works across. Just trying to force the Falcons out of what they've been used to seeing so far. We're right about a minute. And Coach Vara calling for someone to come up.
Falcons are going to work the clock. Time is not in the Eagles' favor. They got to place. They might have to foul here.
And Penn down the baseline, gets it up, limbs out. Can't bring it down. It goes down to Jackson. And Luthi comes up. And they're dishing it away just before the foul. Just calling for it here, but trying to find someone that isn't on 4. And so with 38-5, the Eagles, Zach Clay ultimately gets it. And it doesn't look at the moment like Wesley is imminently going to be coming in.
I wouldn't put him back in. Let him rest up his ankle. He's got a long season ahead of him.
And with the Eagles hitting the road for a couple of games after this, it's been about a game a week so far. It's going to pick up as we head into Thanksgiving break and the last couple of days before our Christmas break here. Timeout by Coach Clark for the Falcons. Austin coming out to hype up the guys. This is probably the lineup that we're rolling with. We played 7 in the first half. Wesley looked like he turned his ankle or something, and Austin's on 5 fouls. So, I mean, this is the intent that we're looking at.
Wes back on the bench. He's got some ice on his knee, actually. And if I'm the Eagles right now, I'm looking to shoot a 3 probably. They're down 6 points, 38.5 left. I'd expect Austin Pace or Caleb Luthi, even David Goa. I mean, all these guys on the court right now. I'd expect someone to try and get a look at the 3-ball.
And Pace high-fiving Adrian Medino, who comes over to the scorer's table. And looks like he might be checking in if we're looking for 3 points shooting off the bench. Pace hyping and contribute on the floor. I mean, just kind of a small rotation. You got to play physical on defense is what it is there. Trying to contribute by hyping these guys up. And 38-5. Everyone has done every foul at this point, so anything is going to send people to the line for multiple shots. Right. Falcons with an opportunity to extend their lead here coming out of the timeout before the Eagles come back with it.
And there you go. Dino checked in.
And
I'm sure he'll get a look at a 3 and the opportunity coming down.
comes in for Murata. And so 6 points, 38-5. We'll see if the number to beat rises by McMichael's free throws here.
West Coast has got to box out if they miss.
Only one down for West Coast, or for Cal Miramar. Goe bringing it up, trying to work through. And look around. Caleb, space! And that was to the left, comes down. And it's going to be Del Valle that gets it. Brett Favre's it up to McMichael. And
that's the dagger.
That probably does it here. 9-point game. Luthi with space with about 20. Can Dino get it up? And he cannot. And it's just one of those things. You know the 3 is going up. Just time it up and tee it off. Another rejection in that corner. 16 left. 9-point game. Eagles fighting this one all the way out. But I think it's at this point that
Dino could have had it if he pump faked.
How this one's going to go. And it's tough because you've got to get the shot up as fast as possible and yet also have to be able to play it out. That one's going to get knocked away by Miramar. Eagles coming down with it at 11-8. But 3 possessions plus whatever the free throws add to it.
And I respect the fight by the Eagles. They're not giving up. They're trying to get a bucket and a stop. Try to take this one down the wire.
And we'll be more reflective once the clock hits 0. Right now the clock never got started. And a tough foul by Clay here. And they're all kind of backing away. They didn't mean anything by it, but guys running away, you gotta reel them back in. But even if we get another Eagles possession out of this, I don't know that we're going to get more fouls at this point. 8-3 left. And, hey, we talked about it at halftime. What the first half game plan was not working. I don't know if it was a game plan thing that went wrong or if Wesley just broke them with the relentless hammer of stepping out to 28 feet and not missing. But something had to change. And so credit to Coach Clark, credit to the guys on Miramar for this.
They've had a fiery half this second half. They came out of halftime juiced and ready to go. Played full court pressure almost the entire second half.
And fiery is exactly the word for this. And disappointing for the Eagles. Certainly not a lack of desire. I don't even know that I'd call it exactly a lack of execution. We saw the occasional pass get away or something like that. But it wasn't like they were just constantly chucking passes into the birdcage. But it's fine margins, and it's a tough game. Both sides went to war. And it's a war that certainly swung in the second half. Goe works through. 5 seconds left. And that one's just going to be a little bit deep. I think we're going to see this one play out. And a good game by both teams. The Traveler Miramar fans excited for this one for sure.
Good win for Cal Miramar.
And the Falcons come on the road, come back on the road, and great work by both teams. Falcons up 97-87 when it's all said and done. Wesley and the guys on Miramar specifically seeking him out, it seems like a lot of respect. From their line, it looks like just about every player on their team kind of stepping specifically to him to congratulate him on that performance. Bombed them in the first half, couldn't quite replicate that in the second. But something certainly that as both sides want to take back, we'll have a lot to learn from. More depending on which half you look at, for each team for sure. But a tough game for both sides. Eagles down 10 when it's all said and done. I believe our next home game is going to be on the other side of Thanksgiving break. And Saturday. Saturday's always a little bit hit and miss on if we are streaming, but the plan right now is to do so. And if nothing else, tune in. You might get the game on mute more or less, but you'll still be able to see Eagles basketball here We'll give it a second and try to get some final stats for you. But a great game. Tim, what's the teaching takeaway if you're Coach Vara? I mean, obviously, let's wave the magic wand and have Wesley hit 7 of 7 from 3 every half of every game. Sure, why not, right? But what's the teaching takeaway if you're Coach Vara for this Eagles side?
I don't know if I could point to any one guy or any stats or anything like that. I think even though the Eagles lost, hey man, they played a great game. They played hard all the way to the end. They